Thus we will see how this Ayurveda is related to our health, like how we will find out the diseases, or how we will find out the diseased person, and which types of briefly which types of treatment we have, and how we will treat in Ayurveda we will see. But as someone asked in group, actually these doshas, dhatus, everything we can identify in a person, for example by seeing me or any person, by seeing their activities, their routine, their maybe their appetite or their activities, maybe like excreta, something else like digestion power, maybe by seeing these all, or briefly if you are well versed experienced in Ayurveda, by seeing that person's activity for 5 to 10 minutes, you can identify which prakriti or which dosha dominancy. Prakriti is nothing but, again here we have three doshas, I said, right? Three doshas singly, vata prakriti, pitta prakriti and kapha prakriti, or by combining vata pitta, pitta kapha and kapha vata, plus combination of three. We have 7 forms of prakritis in a person. Depending on that, the person's activity will be. So these all points in further classes, as in tomorrow's class we have particularly descriptions of dosha, dhatu, everything. In that I'll explain how to identify a person's which dominate dosha is there, or in which disease which dosha will be vitiated. Everything we can get to know if we have a knowledge of Ayurveda. So in further classes we will get to know. Today overall, how this Ayurveda helps in treating or keeping a person in healthy way, we will see. So basically, what is this health? Obviously, when we will see, say a person is a healthy person, they are physically good, they are mentally stable, they are like emotionally they are stable, spiritually means nothing but following the religious, and socially, what is this socially? By mingling with others or their social behavior. So if these all 5 points are perfect in a person, then we can say the person is a healthy person. Now for example, like we can compare, or anyone may have question, if a person is physically mentally healthy but he is not good socially, depends on their character also, right? Then that person will not be ill health. Stable means mingling with everyone, and activities of a person should be in a normal way, then we can say a person is a healthy. If anyone disturbs in these 5 points, it may turn into ill health, we can say. But briefly, the person, if person is physically and mentally healthy, then that person is a healthy person. The rest 3 depends on their, even their character, their surrounding, their environment, that all depends. So what this Ayurveda do in a healthcare system? Like as in introduction class we saw, whole Ayurveda aims at maintaining a health of a healthy person in a healthy way, and treating a diseased person according to their complaints, right? In yesterday's class we saw. In same way, how they will maintain this? By 3 points, as I said. If you remember, like doshas, dhatus and malas. These doshas are nothing but what I am explaining, like every person will be having their dominancy of doshas, and dhatus which related to a circulation or functioning of a body, and malas is excreta. So combining these all, maintaining. And another point, components which we want fundamentally is pancha mahabhutas. So our whole Ayurveda depends on these 4 points, that is doshas of a body, dhatus of a body, malas and pancha mahabhutas. But pancha mahabhuta we can't identify, they are not vitiated, but the functioning of these 3, that is dosha, dhatu and mala, for functioning of these 3 we want combination of pancha mahabhuta. So these 4 points, if we get to know, if we understand these 4 points, obviously half of the Ayurveda will be learnt by us. But again, treating a person or maintaining their health depends on our practice. That's what, how this health, in healthcare system, our Ayurveda works. Is Ayurveda healthcare effective? Obviously, as from yesterday I am saying, it maintains the healthy person's health in a healthy way, and it will treat a in a healthy way, and it will treat the diseased person. Laptop charge ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಇರು ನೋಡೋಣ. So introduce yourself to a daily routine. How we should maintain a health in a Ayurveda? By introducing ourselves in a daily routine, as I said, like Dinacharya, Rutucharya, or it may be a Rasayana and Vajikarna. By maintaining all the activities in a daily basis, we should adopt ourselves to Ayurveda. Like by maintaining the daily activities from getting up till night, or by maintaining the seasonal activities. Like as I said, in winter, if we have a cold items, obviously we will get ill, right? Or for example, in summer, if we have hot things, our digestion power will disturb, or we will get the like what to say, pitta aggravated. Like according to seasonal wise, we should change. Or and Rasayana and Vajikarna, as I said, Rasana is maintaining of the health in us by using the supplementaries, and Vajikarna, as I said, it acts on fertility. So we're not only learning Ayurveda, but we have to stick for it. Consistently we have to practice whatever Ayurveda says, and we have to practice it on daily basis, whatever. Nothing like major we have to do that, this something else. Daily whatever we are doing activities, maybe eating, walking, or like exercises, we all will adopt in our life, right? That only in a mannered way, like particular time or in particular way they explain, that we have to adopt in our daily routine. So and we should be consistency, we should maintain consistency in practicing these all activities. That's what our Ayurveda says. And what are the 5 principles of Ayurveda? That's what I was saying. In yesterday's class, what overall our health depends. Miku, adra charge off close ಮಾಡಿಡು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ಐತೆ ಇದು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್. Like yesterday I explained dosha dhatu mala, right? But as I said, to make functioning of this dosha dhatu mala in a regular way, in a correct way, the functioning of these pancha mahabhutas we want. What I am saying, pancha mahabhuta from yesterday, that's what Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala and Prithvi, according to our Sanskrit terms. That's what they correlated in these. That is water means Jala, earth Prithvi, fire Agni, space Akasha, and air Vayu. How they correlate these all in our body is nothing but overall body is filled with these 5 items or 5 components or 5 contents. That is water is nothing but Jala. Jala here we can compare it with not water means not only water, whichever liquid content is there. It may be blood, it may be cerebrospinal fluid, or it may be CSF. Any liquid fluid is correlated with the Jala Mahabhuta. Earth means obviously like Prithvi, what we say in Sanskrit term, hard one. Obviously Prithvi is hard, right? Hard things, whichever maybe the organs, bones, whichever hard things are there, they function with the Prithvi Mahabhuta. Fire means nothing but Agni. Agni, obviously we can correlate it with the digestive system. Overall GIT, gastrointestinal system, whatever digestive, like digestion, absorbing, it may be, and all the functioning of digestive system will be correlated with the Agni Mahabhuta, that is fire. Space here nothing but Akasha. Empty spaces, wherever the empty spaces are there in our body, it will be correlated with space, that is Akasha Mahabhuta, functions with Akasha Mahabhuta. And air, nothing but Vayu. Obviously we know like blood circulation, may be anything, functioning of overall body takes place with the movement only, right? Movement here is nothing but Vayu Mahabhuta, that is air. So these all, as I said, they are correlated with the one or the other functioning capacity of our body. With these all functioning capacity, how they will do or how they will function with those through, that is dosha, dhatu and mala. So combining all this dosha, dhatu, mala, functioning capacity will be through Pancha Mahabhuta. So this is overall components of the body. Depending all these, we have Prakriti, Vikruti, everything. In further slides we will get to know. So Ayurveda promotes health by balancing the doshas. Overall, it strives to maintain and improve general health holistically. regardless of age. Like some fields we have, they will treat only the children's, or only adults, or only the particular treatment protocols, conditions or situations, right? But here, when we compare here, it's not so. In Ayurveda, from birth, when baby comes out, from that age till adults, we have overall treatment protocol or the routine protocol in our Ayurveda. It will treat even a newborn baby, and even it will treat adults, or even it will treat age olds, or in overall lifespan also. Even in pregnancy we have separate forms of rituals, treatment. Obviously in every fields, for every condition there will be treatment, but in Ayurveda, with the treatment, the special point is they will explain in which condition what all lifestyle you should follow, what all activities you should follow, what all activities you should not follow, contraindications, everything they will explain. So what are the benefits of Ayurveda? Actually, as I said, from birth till death, every aspect of a person or a human being is explained in Ayurveda, but specially it will work in weight loss and maintenance of weight, stress level, especially in stress level, this Ayurveda works, glowing or healthy skin and hair, reduce inflammations. Inflammations means any other conditions, body cleansing through Panchakarma therapies. Actually, body cleansing, that is nothing but detoxification, not only in diseases, for healthy persons also, to maintain their health in a healthy way, we can go for detoxification, that is Panchakarma procedures. Lowers cholesterol, blood pressure and symptoms of illness. Even our Ayurveda, like some have myth that only some chronic conditions or acute conditions the Ayurveda can treat, but over like especially like cholesterol conditions or blood pressure conditions or diabetic conditions, Ayurveda won't have treatment. We have myth, but even in these fields we can, even in these fields we can treat in through Ayurveda. Actually, when we go for modern medicines, obviously we all know it will be included with some preservatives, or it will be included with steroids, some medicines, or it will be included with high doses of antibiotics contents, which will give side effects to our body. We all know it, right? And even like doctors only will say, if you take regularly the aceclofenacs or painkillers, it will injure your organs, right? But as in Ayurveda, it won't do, it will not give any side effects. Actually, in last slide I forgot to explain that point due to this electricity some problems. Actually, Ayurveda, why Ayurveda is best, because it won't contain any preservatives, it won't contain any like steroids or something else which will give side effects to our body. Actually, like while explaining, especially our Ayurveda people, they will say Ayurveda medicines have no side effects. Actually, that is wrong. As Ayurveda physician, I should agree whatever the protocol is there. It's not a no side effects, it have less side effects. Why less side effects? Because as I said, it won't have preservatives, steroids, something else. It is purely a herbal medicines or herbo mineral medicine, so it won't have any side effects on our body. But it's not like it won't have no side effects only. Why? Because, for example, if I have a cough, if I take a medicine till I like my cough is cured or prevented or reduced, then I have a good results, right? But though my cough is reduced, it won't have any side effects, so I can take. Though my cough is reduced, I'll go on taking the cough medicine. What will happen? It may be herbal, or it may be home remedy, or it may be any other. It will give side effects, right? So in that way, if a person is suffering with some disease, or if person wants some supplement, for that person if we give, obviously it won't have any side effects, but it should be in a limit form, it should be according to condition, and it should be according to the person's tolerating capacity. If we give in these three forms, then obviously it won't have any side effects. If we give in a wrong way or for longer duration than the patient needed, obviously it will have some side effects. So we will say Ayurveda medicine have less side effects, but no side effect, not the no side effects. And obviously, and improve quality of life. Obviously, by taking all Ayurvedic medicines, as I said, it will not cause any side effects, but it will cure the disease, and it will cure the disease with cause. What it will treat. So, the best way of treating a patient or treating a person is Ayurveda, we can say. What is Ayurvedic lifestyle? From yesterday, I am saying you should follow Dinacharya, Dinacharya. What is this Dinacharya? We won't have any special points, but whatever we are doing in a routine activity, we should include some extra points, or we should follow some extra activities. That is, firstly, make an effort to establish a regular and healthy sleep regimen. Actually, when anyone starts the Dinacharya, they will start with the getting up, Brahme Murte Uttishte, right? But I added here first sleep, because if we sleep at a correct time, then only we can get up at Brahme Murta, right? Brahme Murte Uttishte means in our Ayurveda they will say Brahma Muhurta, that is from 3 to 5 or 5:30 morning, early morning 3 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. They mentioned it as a Brahma Muhurta. According to our Ayurveda, we should get up in these before 5:30, from 3 to 5:30 we should get up, they will say. But to get up at that time, initially we should sleep early, right? We should have a quality sleep, then only we can get up, then only we can get up easily. If we sleep at 12 1, and if I get up to follow Ayurvedic regimen, Ayurvedic doctor said to get up at Brahma Murta, by sleeping at 1, if you get up at 3:34, obviously you will not be a healthy, you will fall ill, right? So before getting up, you should sleep at early. How early is actually, according to our circulation system or functioning body functioning system, they say that from 11 to 2 o'clock, our body will be in rest position. All the body functioning need rest at this time, because they will cleanse. All the body organs or functioning will cleanse themselves. Actually, our body have its own mechanism. By disturbing it, we will create the disturbance in that mechanism, and we will become ill. If we follow according to our body functioning, we can be a healthy without any question. So what we should do, we should sleep before 11, then we can get up at Brahme Muhurta. So that is the first point. And another point is uh, quality sleep. We say quality sleep. Quality sleep means uh, not sleeping, or what they will say, not sleeping late and getting up late. What people will say, if we ask them whether you are having a quality sleep, then their answer will be, I'll sleep 7 to 8 hours. But if you ask their timing, they will sleep late night and they will get up late morning. That is not a quality sleep. If you have such sleep for 9 to 10 hours also, it's not a quality sleep. You should sleep early and you should get up early. That will be a quality sleep. Secondly, consume a balanced breakfast meal around 7 a.m., lunch approximately around noon, and dinner before 6 p.m. This is what our Ayurveda says, but actually, according to our practical thing, obviously before 6 p.m., those who are home workers, or they will be in home, they can follow. But if I say this for IT people, they will be in a workplace till 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., right? They can't follow. But according to our acharyas, in acharyas time it was flexible, right? If not till 6 p.m. also, within 8 p.m. you should have your dinner. Thirdly, begin each day by scraping your tongue and sipping a cup of hot lemon water. Again, lemon water, for some Prakriti people it will give a good result. For some Prakriti people it will not give. Overall, to maintain a health, instead of lemon water, you can have a one glass of warm water. That's better. But the scraping of tongue is again in Dinacharya. I'll explain in further classes what it is actually. Lastly, every night do 10 minutes of restorative yoga or meditation. Nothing but to have a good sleep. You can end a day with the meditation. So this is briefly Dinacharya, what you can follow according to Ayurveda. Simple methods to get started with the Ayurvedic diet. Again, as I said in Dinacharya, simple points. simple dietary advice I added here. Eat homemade meals instead of refined and processed foods. We all know due to this refined and processed foods only, we all are getting ill. But again, as speaking practically, to fully avoid it, it's not possible according to our technology, according to our running schedule in our life. But as much as possible, we should avoid and we should depend on homemade foods. Rarely, if we have, nothing to worry, we can manage it. Eat a balanced and consistent diet plan. Do not miss meals. As I said, 3 breakfast, lunch, and dinner should be accurately. We should not miss this. And with these 3 also, we should have a balanced diet. In Ayurveda, we will say Shad Rasas. Shad Rasas means 6 types of tastes. Balanced diet means nowadays what it happens, if they want some lose weight, they will depend fully on protein diet, or if they want to gain weight, they will fully depend on fats. It's not so. To be healthy or to gain any sort of weight or to lose any sort of weight, initially we should have all shadrasas, balanced diet. All shadrasas, our plate should be included, not depending on only one sort of minerals, vitamins, anything, one sort of nutrition. Again, we will have some sort of nutrition deficiency and we will become ill. But by maintaining, then you all may ask, if we are on a losing weight, if we have a balanced diet, everything, fat, sweet, everything, then how we can lose weight, you can ask. Actually, by having balanced diet to lose weight, we have another protocol which all to include on and which all to avoid. Actually, in weight loss journey, we can particularly we can see that, right? Lunch should be your heaviest meal, with dinner being your lightest one. Why? You may have a question like lunch in hari bari, however we will have, but dinner aram se we can have in home, so we can have a heavy meal, right? Actually, why lunch is heavy meals? Because our day, like more activities, whole days more actively we will be moving, doing work in a afternoon period, right? So we should have a heavy meals to maintain that activities. In dinner, after dinner, we will have dinner, we will give 1 or 2 hours gap and we will sleep, no any activities, so it will not digest. So dinner should be a lightest one. Drink hot water between the meals. Why hot water? Because has hot potency, it will digest the food correctly. So instead of cold water, you can have hot water if you are comfortable. So actually in yesterday's class we saw this, right? Causes for diseases, like kala, ardha, karma, the time, like organs or objects in our body, and shodhana karma. If we do excess also, we will fall the ill health. If we do improper also, we will fall ill health. Or we will do, if we do deficiency, if we have deficiency, then too we will fall ill health. We'll see somewhat extended point according to this. So now we got to know if we dosha or dhatu or mala, if it's vitiated, if it is not in an equilibrium state, then we will fall ill health, or our body will get diseases. So in these diseases also, actually we have these all forms or stages, that is sanchaya. Nothing but if we have any wrong food or unwholesome diet, that will accumulate in our body initially, right? Then it will vitiate some dosha and it will start spreading in other parts of our body. Sthana samshraya. After spreading, it will take one sort of location in our body and it will accumulate one sort of location. After accumulation, it will start manifestation, multiply. And after multiplying, we will get symptoms or signs and symptoms in our body, and again complications will start. So any disease, it may be a for example, for the stages, to explain these stages, I can give one example. For example, our flu, nothing but cold. If any virus enter in my body, it may be through external by others, or it may be by having cold through infection. Some virus starts in my body. What it will do? It will enter my body. It will surge. It will be roaming in my body, wait to accumulate, and obviously cold, where it will accumulate in respiratory system, it will get accumulated. After accumulation, manifestation. It will create its own sort of complaints to my body. I'll get running nose, my nose get blocked, my heaviness of head, everything will start. Then if even in this stage, if I start treating by taking steam or taking any medicines, it will be managed. If I didn't do anything, what will happen? I'll get fever. So these all are the stages of diseases manifestation. I gave example of cold. In all diseases, it will be same. So roga prakara, even what we saw in last slide was stages of disease. But this disease, even we have types also. That is nija and agantuja. Nija here is nothing but our own the bodily factors. Due to own bodily vitiation, it will give the complaints. Or external. How external? It may be injury or infection through external one. Best example is corona. And improper deeds. Deeds here nothing but not our karmas, activities. Unwholesome things or contraindicated things, if we do, we will fall ill. For example, if now it's raining heavily here, if I go and wet, what will happen? Obviously tomorrow I'll get cold, right? That is improper deed. And abhishapa, curse or holy people, it will come in religious. Even we can consider this according to our acharya, they consider this. Again, if we come for body, we have two forms, that is bodily ill health or manasika, that is psychic ill health. But in bodily, again we have nija and agantuja. In agantuja we have different forms. So roga pariksha. Actually last slide was roga prakara. Before that, stages of disease, how it will manifest in our body. How many forms or types of diseases we have. Now, okay, now we got to know how the disease will manifest in my body and how the which forms of types of disease we have. Why we want to know types of diseases? Because if it's our bodily nija, bodily pathological changes, we have different forms or line of treatment. If it's agantuja, if it is external form, again we have different line of treatment. So we want to differentiate both of them. Again, after getting to know a person is diseased, which forms or examination, how we will do. Again, examination also or form of disease also, we have 5 forms. That is nidhana. Nidhana is first one, cause. When any person come and complain about any ill health, first we will say, first we should think what is cause there. Then purva rupa. Purva rupa means before getting the symptoms, some signs our body will show. For example, as we are discussing about cold, now a person is suffering with cold, obviously we will get we should know how it caused, whether it is transferred from any other person or you got wet or you got infected yourself. That is nidhana. Purva rupa means before getting cold, we will get some itching sensation in throat before day, right? That is nothing but purva rupa. Rupa is clinical symptoms. What symptoms means nothing but that's what, running nose, blocked nose, fever, everything. Upashaya, whether it will be treated with only home remedies or not maintaining the or changing the activities, or whether it should be included with treatment. And samprapti here, actually cold won't have any samprapti. Pathogenesis, nothing but we can take how it will be developed, or treatment protocol. For confirmation of treatment protocol, these all we should know. So when a person we got to know he is diseased or she is diseased, to rule out the treatment protocol of a disease, we want all these 5. That is explained in Ayurveda. Actually, we are here, we are Ayurvedic doctors and we are not treating patients here. You all joined to know about Ayurveda, right? You all may be thinking why I am explaining these all. Because blindly if I say our Ayurveda is very good, it will treat the disease from cause, so you should believe Ayurveda. Everyone can say that. But what is the proof and how we are saying that Ayurveda will treat the disease with cause? These all are the examples. How we enroll the disease, how we identify the disease, and how we treat. So you all should know. So I am explaining. After that was the bifurcation of the disease, how we will bifurcate it and how we will treat it. Now coming for the person, what all forms of investigations or examination we should do in patient. That is darshana, inspection. By seeing a person, we can say whether the person is active or he is dull or she is dull. How we like by seeing only we can say, right? That is darshana. Sparshana, by touching. By touching we can say body is warm, whether they have temperature, or if the person is having any swelling, by touching we can identify swelling is there. Prashna, questions, like to know the cause, to know the complaints. Obviously we should cross question them that what all they had, right? And ashtasthana pariksha and dashavida pariksha. Ashtasthana, again we have different in investigation we will see eyes, nose, tongue, everything, right? So that is in our Ayurveda. Ashtasthana pariksha they explain separately, and dashavida pariksha they explain separately. These are nothing but when we compare with the modern, we can say systemic examination or local examination, what all they will give, right? That's what. Now coming for type of treatment. Actually, again, types of treatment means, yesterday we saw this slide, I guess. Daiva Vyapashraya, Yukti Vyapashraya, Sattva Vajaya. What is this? The three we'll see. Daiva Vyapashraya is nothing but, as I said, Daiva means beliefs. Maybe Manarogas or psychological diseases will come in this, or some infectious diseases also we can say, by giving Homa, Havana, or by treating the microorganisms. What all forms of treatment will come in Daiva Vyapashraya? Mantra, Aushadha, Jans, Mangala Karma, Homa, Niyama, Prayaschita, and Upasa. Again, Upasa, you can ask how fasting will treat a disease, right? Actually, according to our Ayurveda, in Jwara, especially when a person have fever, they will say to be fasting. They should not give heavy meals in fever. Why? Scientific reason, because in fever, a person will be having low digestion power. They can't digest the food. If you give heavy meals in fever, again next day they will start with the vomiting or loose motions. So they should be in light, easily digestible foods, or if they be in empty stomach for a single day by having liquids, then it will be better according to our Ayurveda, they will say. So this is one of the form of Daiva Vyapashraya treatment. Yukti Vyapashraya, as I said, prescription by planning. I got to know this disease person have, and I got to know that 5 points, how this disease came, why it came, how it spreaded. They will plan for, they will do investigations, and they will go plan for treatment, right? Treatment will come in Yukti Vyapashraya. It may be herbal treatment, or it may be Gruta form, or it may be a tablet form. Any according to complaints they will advise. Sattva Vajaya, as I said, psychological treatments, like as they said, educating the person, or counseling the person, giving moral support, or reviewing the past memory. Nothing but turning or advising them health, nothing but health tips we can say, advising them what wrong you did, so you got this disease, you should not do that wrong thing, then you will be healthy. Advising them their routine, or it may be even medicines. If they are taking in a wrong way, you should advise them to take in a good way. After planning a treatment, here it comes the treatment protocol, what we should give. Again, this slide, actually yesterday I showed Shamana and Shodhana with Rasana and Vajikarna, that is supplementary. Shamana here means oral medicines we will give. Shodhana, procedures they will advise. In Shamana, we will give, again we have these all forms of medicines in Ayurveda, that is Swarasa, Kalka, Vata, Hima, and Panta. Swarasa is nothing but home remedies. Even our ancestors were doing. They were taking some leaves, they were removing, rubbing that leaves, and they were removing the rasa from it. That is nothing but Swarasa. Kalka, again the same one, by adding some liquids or water, or it may be any liquid medications, by doing it in a semi-solid form. Kvata, by adding these in a one part of water, boiling it to half part, that is Kvata. And Hima and Pata, cold infusion and hot infusion. These all different forms of medicines, with same ingredient we can prepare all these 5 forms according to the condition we can give. In our Ayurveda we have different forms of this thing. These all ingredients even we can change into churnas, vatis, or anjanas, etc. in different forms, according to different prakriti, according to different condition of a disease we will give. Shodhana, that is Shodhana procedure. Again, as I said, Panchakarma. 5 forms of procedures we have which will detoxify our body. That is first one Vamana, second one Virechana, Basti, Nasya and Rakta Mokshana. But these all, for every person we will not give Shodhana karmas. Initially we will give Shamana karmas, oral medicines. If they are not able to treat with oral medicines, we will go for Panchakarma procedures to detoxify body. Again, these procedures will be chosen according to the person's disease, according to the person's condition, and according to the person's dosha vitiation. Even dosha vitiation matters here. By identifying which dosha is vitiated, we will give the procedures. So, Achara Rasayana. What is this Achara Rasayana? As I said, Ayurveda not only treats the disease of a complaints of a diseased person, even it will keep a healthy person in a healthy way. How? By doing Achara Rasayanas. Like it may be physically activities to advise them, or it may be a mental activities like pranayama or meditation, everything. Maintaining personal and social harmony, proper sleep and wholesome diet, controlling over their senses. Everything by doing all this in a routine activities. These all are nothing but our activities, what we do in our daily routine, right? As from initially I am saying, like to keep a healthy person in a healthy way, our Ayurveda won't say anything like particular points. Whatever activities we are doing on daily basis, that should be did in a particular form of way. That form of way, what forms and which forms, that will be explained in Ayurveda, nothing else. And if a person needed some supplementaries, then they can go for supplementaries. So this is how our Ayurveda works on health, how this health will be identified, or the disease will be identified, how many forms of diseases we have, and how many forms of treatment for that disease we have, and how we will treat. But to understand it clearly, you should know what is this dosha, dhatu and kala, which we will be seeing in tomorrow's class. So this was about how our Ayurveda